Hello everyone, this is going to be a Battlefield 6 settings video. I'm going to just walk you through the settings that I have in this game, and you can try using them if it helps. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to go into our graphics settings. I have these set to my personal preference. You can pause the video and take a look at them and try them out. However, it's completely up to you. It depends on what kind of hardware you're running. If you're running a low-end build, you might need to turn a lot of these down or even off. If you're running a decent build or a good build or a high-end build, again, mess around with it. All personal preference. I'll leave my specs down below, but again, even though with my specs I could get away with running a lot of these on high, I choose not to. Again, personal preference. If we go to these three settings here, brightness and sharpness, I have these set at default value. You can ignore UI brightness. World brightness, you can get away with maybe 50 to 70 before it kind of gets too much to look at. Sharpness, 50 to 70 again. I've tried 90 and it didn't really, it still looked fine, but I'm good with where the default settings are at right now for the brightness and sharpness. For the advanced settings, I'm running NVIDIA Reflex, low latency enabled plus boost. At one point I was running NVIDIA multi-frame generation at 2, and the game was running really, really well. So if you have any of the newer hardware, test it out, play with these. But these are my settings here. For camera settings, my personal preference for field of view is 120. Go with whatever your personal preference is. I do have one small pro tip. If you're playing at 85 FOV, you're probably going to notice something with the gun, and that there's going to be a lot of recoil and bounce. If you crank the FOV to 120, you'll notice that there isn't much recoil. So give it a try. I have this set to wide for weapon field of view. If you look at my gun here, you'll notice that it gets closer. I have it set to wide so it appears farther, but personal preference again. Weapon motion blur is 0, world motion blur is 0, camera shake amount is at 50, at the most minimum amount possible, so the camera's not shaking while there's stuff blowing up near you. Reduce sprint camera bobbing, so while your character's sprinting, the camera isn't like bobbing up and down. These are my display settings. My interface and HUD settings. I have infantry HUD motion off and vehicle HUD motion off. You can go to the advanced HUD settings. I don't really do much in here. There's not much to really change. The only thing that I would recommend taking a look at is probably putting this to on if it's set to off. In the beta, for some reason, it was set to off by default. And now at launch, it was set to on by default, thankfully. But in the event that it's not, it's here if you want to turn it on. Infantry crosshair projection. You'll notice when I jump around, if you look at the dot in the center of the screen, or the crosshair itself, while I jump around, it moves around with my character. You can turn this off, and it'll keep the crosshair centered. Oh, wrong setting. And you'll notice now when I jump, it stays in place. For mouse and keyboard, I have, if we go to control settings, I have uniform infantry aiming set to on, so that way the aim is consistent across all sensitivities. Again, field of view is at my personal preference, which is 120. Again, give it a try. So for the mouse settings, a lot of people fail to neglect the built-in mouse acceleration that comes with Windows, and you can turn it off here. And if you're running an older version of Windows, or you just prefer to go the classic way, you can turn it off here. The default is at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then you turn this off, and that gets rid of the enhanced pointer precision, aka the mouse acceleration. That way, when you're doing a full swipe on your mouse pad, it's just a consistent sensitivity overall. And if you go to your options, go to mouse and keyboard, and scroll all the way down, you'll see mouse raw input, which will give you a consistent sensitivity. So hopefully that helps. If you have any questions, feel free to comment down below. I'll try my best to answer them. If you have any tips that you want to share down below in the comment section as well for other people that come across this video, help each other out in this game. So again, thank you, God bless, and have a good night.